This was the Smackdown of Friday night, March the 6th, right? Correct. But because I wasn't going to watch it live, because at least I want to be able to skip through the commercials, and I had other shit to do. But when I went, I said I hit the DVR, so I went back, I watched it. It started with the Hall of Fame inductees being read in the ring by Alexa Bliss and some girl with her. So what did I miss?
That was kind of the open. I mean, I think they may have done a recap at the top with John Cena there the previous week, seemingly accepting a challenge from Bray Wyatt to wrestle at WrestleMania, which may or may not happen. And then we went to, I think it's A Moment of Bliss, which is the Alexa Bliss interview segment with her and her best friend.
Okay. Who is the best friend?
Is it Nikki Cross? Was that it?
I don't fucking know. They never said her name in anything that I got on this tape. I got that she's the stooge girl that is the friend and took selfies with is just a goofy sidekick, right? I got that, but I don't know what her name is.
I believe it's Nikki Cross.
Anyway, they introed Hall and Nash and Waltman. And I thought, certainly to God, they're not, because normally when they bring the legends out, it's to make buffoons out of them, but they're not going to do that here. You could tell X-Pac was having a ball. The loss of hair for that entire group over the last 20 years is epic. Nash has a gray crew cut. Hall is completely gray. Fucking Waltman has part of it shaved, I guess, for the fashion, but he don't have as much as he used to. But it looks like they donated it to some cancer fucking fundraiser or whatever. But anyway, this Alexa Bliss did not utter a single word in this, including the questions, that wasn't scripted to death. She just horrible, vacant. Obviously, she's there because she's a beautiful blonde, and I'm sure that if Vince is still allowed to do this now that the company is publicly traded, he's talking about white cotton panties in the fucking creative meetings. That's obviously why she's there, because God almighty, a fucking android could have done a better job with this. But Nash stole the segment of, as you would imagine he would, just by sounding like he meant it, and he was the only real person. I mean, Hall didn't say anything really much. So, but it was like the difference, but it was like the real stars from years ago were now on this fake program. I mean, is that the way it came off to you?
Yeah. I mean, the scripting of everyone saying everything is just so atrocious. Like Sean Waltman, who definitely was having a good time out there. Like they even put that line to him. What should I call you? Sean or X-Pac or Six? Hall of Famer. Like, one of those goofs in the back wrote that line.
Yeah.
Nash was the smartest one. He said nothing.
Yeah, but he sounded like he meant it.
Yeah.
But then help me, because here comes Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura to interrupt. Weren't people losing their minds over Shinsuke Nakamura about 3 or 4 years ago?
Oh,
Wasn't he like the second coming and a main event guy?
He was my favorite guy in New Japan. Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Vince McMahon.
Okay, Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli. I am a huge fan of his. He's strong as a bull. He's fucking smart. He speaks multiple languages. He looks like a fucking beast. He can work. What happened to him?
Vince McMahon. And he got over. He got himself over despite his push. And then he got hit by Vince.
And Sami Zayn, who actually brought some life to this thing. I knew that somebody had told him to say all this shit, but he had enough personality and oomph to the delivery and glibness that at least it was okay to listen to. And this is the guy that was hell-bent on refusing any suggestions for his presentation otherwise than he be a mute luchador with a mask. And could talk like that.
And somehow I haven't watched a show like you in a very long time. Somehow he went from a fan of ska to seemingly dressing like Fidel Castro. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. And I guess he's hurt is why he's kind of in a manager position or whatever, which may be good for him because he can talk his ass off. And he had a bad shoulder or bad shoulders when he was El Generico in Ring of Honor. which was why I also, thought that maybe they might want to quit having the matches with the ladders and the tables, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, Sami Zayn zings X-Pac, and Hall and Nash zing back, and they do the face-to-face, and the heels back down. Zayn did great with that, the backing down, we're not going to have a fight, blah, blah, blah. But then here comes, explain this to me, Lucy. Braun Strowman comes out, who drops Cesaro, then Nakamura. Sami Zayn gets trapped, hides behind Bliss, and bails. That was actually funny, and probably they can't touch him if he's injured or whatever. This whole thing was entertaining for TV until I found out that it is actually a handicap match 3-on-1 on the pay-per-view with Strowman against all three of these fucking heels who have backed down and got leveled already. And they're all just fodder for top guys. And now Strowman has nobody else to work with, so he's got to beat up three people. What the fuck is going on here?
Vince McMahon booking. Who's in charge of SmackDown? Is it Bruce Pritchard?
Yes, because they said Heyman's in charge of Raw, and you see one segment that looks like Heyman had anything to do with it on Raw.
By the way, do you know the results from, I believe it was the Elimination Chamber event for what happened with these guys?
I do not.
Sami Zayn pinned Strowman to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, so he's not hurt.
Seemingly not. 3-on-1 handicap match, and he is now the Intercontinental Champion.
So they were just trying to keep the heat on him by having him beg off and plead off, and his guys get beat up, and then nobody actually touched him.
I guess so. I thought it was good, too, when he threw Alexa Bliss in front of him. He was really good in that role, I thought, all things considered.
Yeah, you think. Now imagine if that was a mute ginger Muslim from Canada playing a luchador named El Generico, and he just used sign language and didn't say anything in that segment. How over would it have gotten? But anyway, I don't understand. So he's the new Intercontinental Champion, but he's portrayed as a pussy, and it was an accidental win. So now Strowman's going to beat all three of these guys up. I don't fucking know. Anyway, that was what that was, basically, right?
Can I just say it here? Because I don't remember how many of them were around when you were actively going to all the TV tapings for WWE, but I hate their interview shows. I guess that's what they call it. This is my show. Like, yes. Piper's Pit worked.
Yeah.
Because it was like 3 minutes.
And it was Piper.
In and out. But they even did some ones after that. Like even Brother Love. We'll say something nice about Bruce here real quick. For the most part, that was in and out. It was kind of quick.
The King's Court still moved, and it was Lawler.
And it wasn't just in the middle of the ring, awkward. Like, oh, now I'm just hosting a show in the middle of this show. It'll go on forever, and I'll say things in such an awkward manner that I was clearly scripted. Piper's Pit, 3 minutes.